This, as you can see, is a paracord grenade. I have two versions. I've got the mini and the regular size one. This is a 3-inch capsule. This is a 2.5-inch capsule. And this video is primarily for those who have received one as a gift or they purchased one from me. And so I wanted to just go through the product itself, just kind of show you the features of it. And then I'm going to probably take this one apart just to show you how to disassemble it if you want to disassemble it. And of course it's got some survival contents inside of the monkey fist knot. For those of you that are new, that don't know what a monkey fist is, this is a monkey fist knot. It's probably one of my most favorite paracord projects to do. I've made hundreds and hundreds of these for different people, or just some that I've sold at a craft show. And so I make them with lanyards and key rings and different things, different colors. And so you take that same knot concept and you make it into a paracord grenade, survival grenade. And this one is a larger one. When you do unravel it, what you are going to see is you're going to end up with this here, which is the plastic capsule with all the survival items you can see in there. And I'm going to go through all of the items that are in this on another video. And then this is the smaller one, the 2.5-inch capsule. There are some differences in what you get, but again, I'll go through that in another video. So this is what we're going to go over today. I'm going to unravel this one, take it apart so you guys can see how to do that. And of course, talk about the features and uses of it if you don't want to take it apart. Just a quick plug. This is my newest design. Oh, by the way, this one is based upon the, here's a picture of it. This is based upon the M67 real live hand grenade that they use in war. That's what this one is based on. I have come up with a different design. This is actually the newest one that I've come up with. This is based upon the MK2 World War II design. This is more, you can see this one's round, this one's more of an oval shape. And this is the capsule that comes inside of this one right here. It's basically an egg that I wrapped a monkey fist around. And of course, anytime I do a monkey fist, I'm always using a monkey fist jig where it fits inside and you're able to wrap it on both sides. And so I've got two sizes here on the oval, or the MK2 style grenade, mini, and then the regular. And then of course there are differences in the contents of what you get. But before I take this off, before we start unraveling it, what I want to do is just go through a few features. There are a couple of other companies that make this same product. I wanted to make mine a little bit differently, add a couple of more features that I think are useful. And so a lot of people have told me, man, it's a cool piece. It's a really cool piece. And the first question I always get asked is, if I unravel it, will I be able to put it back together? And the answer to that is yes, but you're going to need a few things. And here's a few things to make note of. When you first make a monkey fist, I don't know if you can see, these right here were cut. And of course I used a torch to singe the end so that it doesn't unravel from the inside. And so, but I had to cut, and there was an excess amount of paracord, because when you first wrap it, you have to go through and tighten it all up. And once you tighten it up, you end up with a bunch of extra paracord. So you end up with a lot of excess paracord, okay? And so that's one challenge you're gonna face if you wanna put it back together. Of course, you are gonna need the monkey fist to do it. And rather than you being able to do it exactly the way it is, let me count how many passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this monkey fist, this paracord has 10 passes. So 10 wraps, 10 wraps, 10 wraps, and 10 wraps. So basically what's going to end up happening is if you want to put it back together, you're probably going to end up with 9 wraps or maybe even 8 because you're missing a lot of paracord that you had to cut off. So that's going to be the only drawback. So I wanted to make a product that was functional even without taking it apart. It's already functional with the navigation part of it because you can use the oil fill compass for your navigation, but I wanted to make it functional in at least 2 ways without having to take the whole thing apart. So as you can see, all of them come with what's called a ferro rod, and this is what you use. You use your striker to strike your ferro rod to create fire if you're in the wilderness. So and it's fairly easy to do. One of the changes that I made was instead of adding a key ring, I added what's called a book ring, something that opens and closes just like that. So you can take the book ring off, you can take the scraper off, put this aside, and you can use your ferro rod scraper to scrape and create sparks. And basically, if you've never done this before, this ferro rod has a black powder coat finish, as you can see it right there. And what you got to do is basically rub it down until you see silver. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is another ferro rod that I have, and this one is from one of my survival knives. This, as you can see, has a black powder finish just like this ferro rod here. And once you start to use it, I don't know if you can see it, when you start to use it, you start to shave off that powder coat and you start to see the silver coloration underneath. That's what you want to get to when using a ferro rod. And it's the same principle when you're using this one here. You want to shave it down until you get to that silver, and that's what's going to create the sparks with the scraper. So that's a cool feature, just to have this included so that you don't have to go inside and use the matches. So another thing that I added was a cord tensioner. Now let me show you what a cord tensioner is. This is a cord tensioner. It comes with you can see it has 2 holes, one there, one there. You put your paracord in there, and once the paracord is in, it creates tension and it keeps the paracord from moving. It is spring loaded, okay? And so these Paracord Survival grenades, I put 2 of them on there, one in the front and one underneath this clip part of the grenade. And so the whole purpose, of course, is to hold the paracord in place to keep this top base from coming off. So this is what this one is there for. And then this one back here, this tensioner is to keep the clip from moving back and forth. Because one thing I didn't want to sell a product where this part of the paracord grenade would be flipping around all over the place. So that's why I added it there. You can see where I started off up here with a regular cobra knot, and then I went all the way down and then did a double cobra knot on top of this one. And so the excess paracord went in through the base, down in to the cord tensioner, and that's what keeps it secure. So let's go ahead and take this off. Okay, so let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. Let me start off with the back. You're going to squeeze it and pull. Okay, one little note. I was able to remove one paracord, but sometimes this part that is singed, it becomes a little too thick. And so what I have to do now is I got to cut it. And that way there we go. And so now I'm going to be able to take this out with no problem. And so you're going to set that aside. right there, and you'll notice now that it's free. So once you take the cord tensioner off, you're able to just slide it through, and now you can have full access to the compass. And so now let's go ahead, and now that that's been removed, let's go ahead and take off this front tensioner. You squeeze and you pull forward. If it gets stuck, you can just pull it a little more, or in some cases you will have to cut it so that it comes out completely like that. And let me just pull that through, and there are your two cord tensioners. You can reuse those, by the way, to make a bracelet. And so, all right, so here we are, and what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and remove this whole base part right here. In order to do that, you want to first stick your finger inside, and you want to start pulling up. Pull up on the compass, and you can just pull straight up all the way through, and it'll come right out. All right, and so here's where you're left with. And so now let's go ahead and continue. Okay, now that we've got the compass removed, let's go ahead and pull these paracords through. And this one right here is you're just going to, let's start off with this one up here. You're going to pull this one that's closest to the ferro rod area. You're going to pull it all the way through like that. You flip it around, and on this side you're going to pull this one, and you're going to pull this one through just like that. And now you're going to run it through this side, because once you run it through and inside, it runs across. So you have to run it this way. You got to run your finger this way. You got to pull it through, and now you're almost done. You got one more to pull. You just pull this through, and then you're left with your top portion. You're left with your top portion of the paracord grenade, and then you're left with your monkey fist. And so this should be fairly easy to do. You can just follow the line. Let's start on this side over here. You can see this one goes into this wrap here. You can pull it through, flip it around, pull it through, and so on and so forth. Let me go ahead and fast forward the video. Okay, once you get to this point and you've unraveled basically two sides of it, you can basically just start moving the paracord around, and it's actually going to loosen up just like that. And so here's your contents that's on the inside, and then you're left with a bunch of paracord that you can use in survival situation. If you need to make a sort of a if you have a tarp, you can use this. You can tie this between two trees, put your tarp over it, and you've got your temporary shelter. There you go. You've got your capsule with all your survival items, and you've got the stuff that you removed on the outside, which is basically this right here. And then of course you got your ferro rod. Now to remove this, if you really wanted to take this apart and have more use of the paracord, then what you would have to do is you'd have to take this cobra knot off, just like that. And there you go. And these two, I was left with, when you make these, you're left with excess amount of paracord, because you're weaving over the strings that are attached to this one here. And so what you can do at some point, if you do have a knife, let me take this first one off first. What you can do is you can cut this with a knife or scissors, whatever you have on hand. and basically you just grip it on both sides and you pull, and what's going to end up happening is the paracord is going to, the weave is just going to slide right off like it just did. Okay, and so you're left with sort of a gutted cobra weave. And so here's your ferro rod. You can take that out if you want to. I would recommend, since it's so small, leave it on the paracord. That way you'll have some way to grip it and scrape it at the same time. Okay, but if you want to, you can take it off and, you know, make a necklace with it or whatever you want to do. So anyway, that's how you take it apart. You can take this apart, you can unweave this as well, and this is going to be extra paracord for your survival situation. You can use an amount of this much to make a bow drill. If for some reason you were to lose this ferro rod and the scraper, you have an opportunity with paracord to make a bow drill, and there are plenty of videos online on how to make a bow drill. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the next video, like I said, we're going to be going through the contents of the small one, the large one, as well as the egg capsule, and then this is the smaller one as well. We will see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure, if this is your first time tuning into this channel, that you do subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next video.